The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina sometimes deals with disturbing and problematic topics. We provide a list of content warnings in the episode description. Hello and welcome to Dead Ends. I'm Emily.
I'm Brenton.
And we have one episode of Sabrina for you.
Yes.
Because they're long.
Yeah.
And our lives are chaotic right now. We're a little busy just existing. I don't know why we feel so busy. We're not doing anything more, but at the same time, it feels like we're doing
very
more.
Busy. Yeah.
Life outside of like our like or within the confines of our day to day feels busy.
Yeah. I mean, also, day job stuff. Also, it's just been busy. So.
Yeah, I think that's what I meant. Like within the confines of our we've been working hard within the confines of our normal schedule, so therefore it feels busier.
Yeah, totally.
Because normally we don't work.
That's right. Yes.
That's what that sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, normally we're lazy.
Phoning it in.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But we have an episode of Sabrina for you.
That's right.
You're going to say something, Sarah?
I was going to say we're tearing ourselves away from the NASA stream.
We are. So I've been obsessively watching the NASA Artemis stream. When you are watching or listening to this, it will be day 7, I believe, of their basically 10-day journey. They will already have done the lunar flyby. That is tomorrow, Monday, the 6th. It'll be too late for me to give you all the information to go watch it, but I'm sure there'll be recaps. They're live streaming it on like every single streamer. Like I watch it on the net. I've been watching the live stream. They have a 24/7 live stream, which I'm sure you can tune into even after, since they've launched. That's on the NASA YouTube. Very fun. 10 out of 10 recommend. You literally get to like see the views if the cameras are working from the outside of Orion, which is the spacecraft. And they sometimes will turn the camera on in the cabin, the crew will, so you can see the crew in the cabin in the spacecraft, which is just really fucking cool.
It's really cool.
And if not, you at least get to hear their calls down to the ground controller at Capcom in Houston. So if you didn't know, the whole Houston we have a problem thing is because they call to Houston, which is where the Lyndon B. Johnson Space Center is. I'm sure that's not what it was called during the Apollo era because...
During the Johnson era?
Exactly. But they tend to launch from the Kennedy Space Station in Florida, and then they tend to have like the ground control. I mean, I don't know if they also have, I don't know what they do in the Kennedy Space Center versus not. I don't work for NASA. I would, NASA, if you're hiring, if you just want someone who's going to hang out, just be really excited about things, mostly just cry about space. I've just cried a lot about space lately. It just feels good. I really like the whole experience. I really like that a woman is the furthest that a woman has ever been in space. And I really think it's just really fun and fascinating because we have never been to the moon in our lifetimes.
No.
Like they went from 69 to 72 and then they said, that's enough.
We're going to take a break.
Yeah, we're going to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And for our childhoods, it was mostly just the shuttle program, the space shuttles that went up or going to the ISS. They put up the International Space Station, I think in 98. So like that was most of our childhood.
Right.
But we didn't live through the Apollo journey. Also, man, I need to talk about men for a minute because I was thinking about, they're like, oh, this is the Artemis mission. And, it's Apollo, god of the sun, Artemis, goddess of the moon. Like there's lots to do with that. But I'm like, why was the first mission not called Artemis if they were going to the moon? Mm-hmm. Like if the whole point of the Apollo missions, and maybe I don't know what the point of the Apollo missions were, but I assumed it was to go to the moon.
Right.
I think that's what we've been taught. Why was it not Artemis already?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't going to the sun.
They wouldn't be coming back, I tell you what.
That's not a good vibe.
Mm-hmm. And a minor correction, it was Nixon when we landed on the moon.
In 69?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. He won because he's out in 72 is when he resigns.
Oh, and Johnson was president through 69, but it's January of 69.
That's right.
I was like, I believe you, but I'm confused.
Yeah.
Remember when presidents used to have to resign from scandals?
He resigned in 74. Yeah.
Okay. And he went into office. He was sworn in January of 69.
That's right.
Okay. So anyway, it's been really cool to watch. It's really groundbreaking for a lot of ways. Obviously, there's a woman on board. There's a black pilot. Like, there's lots of very important things for DEI, which is frowned upon now in government lingo. But
That's right.
and a lot of the program, the Artemis program itself, the people who work on the ground are women and minorities. Like that, I think that was originally very important to the mission, and then it has since been reframed as like, we make sure we have the best person for the job, which obviously includes women and minorities, because women and minorities tend to be good at things, almost like they are completely capable human beings, and white men are the problem. Anyway, like, all that to say, I've cried a lot watching space this week. It's very cool to watch. They're seeing parts of the moon that the human eye has never seen before, just based on like when they got into orbit and like what the dates were when they launched. So it's very cool, and I am excited to watch.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
And then they splashed down on Friday of this week. Off the coast of San Diego, allegedly. I mean, I think the weather depending, they might have to adjust a little. But we don't, you can't predict the weather correctly this far out, as we know when we look at our weather apps on our phone, and it's like, it's going to rain. And then you look again and you're like, why is it 84 and sunny? So, love that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, lots of fun space stuff. We've been watching the live feed. It's very fun. We've learned a lot about space and about the space programs, and
yeah, seeing how much they have to do, like to even like, they were doing suit tests today. So it was just like having how long it took them to get into their like spacesuits.
Yeah, so they had there's 4 people on the spacecraft or on Orion. And if you watch it, they refer to, when they call it in Houston, they named their craft Integrity. So it's an Orion spaceship, and then they named theirs Integrity, and then it's the Artemis II mission because it's part of the Artemis. So just because there's a lot of names that get like a lot of proper nouns in the space stuff, when you're like, wait a minute, I thought that was this,
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not 100%, but I want to say I don't remember what the Apollo missions were all flown on, like a specific kind of shuttle, or not shuttle, but craft. The space shuttle program is what we had as children, which when the spaceships looked more like planes, and then they were just attached to big rockets. But yeah, so they were putting on their spacesuits in testing like how quickly they can get them on in the case of an emergency, like depressurization. And so they had 2 of them doing it quickly, and like the quick version is still like a 15-minute process.
Yeah,
which is considered like safe because I think it takes a while for the cabin to depressurize. Like but they're like, yeah, that's the fast version. But yeah, you got to watch their suits like blow up. It was cool.
Yeah, and they have oxygen for 6 days in those suits.
Yeah, they can live for up to 6 days in the suits if there's depressurization in the cabin. And then they have like these little straws, like holes for the straws for their food, so they can put like protein shakes and water and like take medication even through the spacesuits, which is just really cool. And so they're up there testing a bunch of things because this is the first manned, or I guess there's another word for manned that isn't male centric. Crewed. That's what we got. Crewed space launch of an Orion ship, from what I understand. But I don't know a lot. Go to the NASA website. You can learn a lot more.
That's right.
I've been having a lot of fun on there because when you can look up the all the Apollo missions, which I like as a kid, you mostly learned about like Apollo 11, which is when they landed on the moon, and then Apollo 13 when shit hit the fan. But they went back again a couple times even after that, because the last time we went was 72. And there's from the Apollo 15 mission, my favorite thing I found so far is someone testing the Galileo theory of objects falling at the same speed regardless of weight in a vacuum. So they're standing on the moon and they drop a falcon feather and a tool and they land at the same time. And it's just so neat. Mm-hmm. It's just so cool. It's like, oh my gosh, science.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And I just think science is so important. And I think it's so beautiful that like humanity can come together and do something that is so like, to look at the moon, to stand on the ground and look at the moon and be like, can we get there? It's like such a dreamer, beautiful, almost poetic thing. And like, I think it shows how closely related being like a dreamer and a poet and being a scientist are. Like, you are a creative, And so when we removed the arts from like STEM for a while, we lost a lot. And I think we're regaining that as a society.
Yeah.
I think people who do it, like it depends on the person, you know, like, but I think as a society, we're regaining that focus and that unity and that ability that like, wow, if we come together and we do something, like imagine what else we could accomplish. And NASA has a shit budget compared to like what we put into money for wars or what we put into money for giving tax breaks to the wealthy or all those things. So I'm like, imagine if we taxed the rich and didn't fund wars. We could be doing we could be doing so much more. It's just really cool. And of course there's going to be capitalistic people who, you know, like we want to go to the moon because we want to mine the moon, which is like we do want to use the resources of the moon to then get to Mars, and people have different motivations for wanting to do that and like colonizing space, and there's a lot. But from a purely scientific looking up at the stars and like dreaming aspect, which you can when you watch some of the press conferences, especially with like the head scientist, I think Dr. Young is her name. I want to say it's Dr. Kelsey Young. I
think that sounds right.
I think that's her name. But when you watch her talk about science and like the way the science team is responding to this and getting to see these like descriptions or hear these descriptions of the moon and parts that the human eye has never seen before, it's just like you can tell these people do this because they love it and like because it's beautiful. So that's my TED talk for you this week is go look at the moon.
Yeah, I love it.
And think about how there's people up there right now that are, at the time of this podcast, they've already gone the furthest humans have ever gone into space. They have gone further than the Apollo missions.
It's wild.
Just because of the way, even though they're not landing on the moon on this mission, just because of the way they're orbiting and what the orbit is and science, you know, they'll be the furthest we've ever been in deep space, which is crazy.
It's really cool.
Also, I do not have the constitution to be in deep space.
No, absolutely.
I don't even have the constitution to be in a small room with a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's small. There's like space for them to move around, but it is definitely small.
One of the things they talk about, and because everyone except for the Canadian, Jeremy, had been to space before, when they were talking about going to space, it's like the idea that like when you're in space because you're in a what do they call it? It's not acute gravity, but they have a term for like a microgravity situation. So there's not a lot of gravity. When you're floating around, you now have room up, down. Like it creates more space for you because like in your home, you'd have a lot more space if you could sit on the ceiling, but you can't sit on the ceiling.
That's right.
But on the space shuttle, you can. Or I guess it's not a shuttle; it's a ship.
Right. Yeah. The spaceship.
Yeah. Or the craft. See, we're learning.
Yeah.
We're learning. We don't know everything.
Just think of the macaroni and cheese.
And if you know more about this or you want to geek out about this, feel free to email us or put it in the comments on YouTube or wherever, because this is my current hyperfixation and I'm having a lot of fun. But I definitely don't know a lot because, you know, I studied English. The only class I took for science, I took 2 in college. I took one on rocks. It's a geology class. Related to the moon, but I did not learn about moon rocks.
Right.
There's not a lot of lunar stuff in there. And I took one about natural catastrophes. And I learned about how the cliffs that all of my friends were living on at that time were eroding into the ocean.
Yep.
And I said, what a wonderful class to take. Learned a lot about earthquakes. But yeah, so space is really fucking cool. And now we're going to talk about Sabrina.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. So we will start with a little production background, very high level, and then get into our cast this week. So this is part 3 that we're beginning on. Not season 3, part 3, because part 3 and 4 are part of this second season of Sabrina, which was produced starting May 17th, 2019, and then finished February 22nd, 2020. So it's that weird thing with Netflix where, not weird thing, it's a money-saving scheme from Netflix where they release different parts of the same season and then they don't have to go through like renewing a show for a third season where people typically get raises and renegotiate contracts.
They have though been doing with Bridgerton, well, they've done in the last 2 seasons, they've broken it into 2 parts to have like 2 release dates.
And that's a little different than this.
And so I'm like, is it also like that they think that it'll keep people from canceling after a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, people get it to watch for a month and then cancel.
Yeah. Bridgerton's case is different. I don't know enough. I believe those are at least seasons.
Yeah, no, so it's a season, but like so we never finished the second half of season
3
with Penelope.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we haven't watched season 4 because,
right.
We didn't finish season 3.
Whereas this is second season, but split into 2 parts.
But that is 2. They broke it into 2 parts. But from the beginning, this was broken into 2 parts.
But it's listed as like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4.
Oh, like the show on Netflix. There's no season.
No.
It's just part 1, 2, 3, and 4.
3 and 4.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And so the first episodes for this, so part 3 dropped in January 24th of 2020, and then part 4 in December 31st, 2020.
God, I was miserable back then. I was having a really bad time. I really wanted to quit my job.
Oh, when this dropped.
Yeah. I remember being so miserable. And then this little voice in my head about around my birthday in February said, just wait 6 weeks, see what happens. And then I was like,
Oh, we're all indoors.
We're all not going anywhere. No need to quit your job. It doesn't exist.
That's right.
So,
good times.
Listen to your intuition.
That's right.
Sometimes you get unemployment because of it.
Yep.
Wouldn't have gotten that if I quit.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then at that time, it was even better because there was the additional furnishment from...
Yeah, they were adding in the extra.
And so this, for people keeping timeline at home, is Riverdale starts at the end of 2019, Riverdale season 4, and then goes into 2020, April. And then this is dropping in January. So
it's in the middle.
Exactly. And before then season 5, even for the part 4. All right. So, I didn't list her, but getting into our cast, I didn't put a separate thing, but you see, hey, that's
Penelope Blossom.
Exactly, played by Natalie Bolt. But instead, she's literally credited as Miss Dubois, so it's not that it's just a fake cover.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, it's Penelope. But no, not really. It's just they brought her in.
Yeah, they just used a face for Prudence to borrow.
Yeah, and why not?
But you would think because it was Penelope would have been a neighbor that, because like Riverdale and Greendale are next to each other, that it would have just been like, oh, she saw her once and used her. But no.
Right.
Like they could have tied it in.
Yeah, exactly. I guess maybe there is you could make that leap.
But they didn't. They didn't make that leap for us.
No. But we'll get into our first new cast member for this part here. Sam Corlett, looking like he just stepped off of a remake of Romeo plus Juliet in this photo.
Truly. I was thinking about that like during the episode. I was like, it's giving young Leonardo DiCaprio, and also like a little bit of like a Hemsworth.
Oh yeah, because he's Australian.
Yeah, but it's like it's not the accent, it's the aesthetic.
Totally.
Like this man looks like he could be related to a Hemsworth, and he he's got the Australian vibe.
Exactly. There's an Australian look about him.
Yeah, which is so funny because like I would not be think that like I would categorize a person as looks Australian until I like did it.
Yeah, then I'd see him and I'm like, yeah, he was you might be surprised to know he was a model before this. But his first acting...
Really? With that face?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that strange? And it seems like his first credits really all start in 2020. So this, and then also in a movie called The Dry, where he played young Luke. And then later he was Leif Erikson in the Vikings sequel, Vikings Valhalla, on Netflix.
All right. Good for him. Get some work.
And then was in a Australian 6-part neo-Western drama television series called Territory. It's Marshall Lawson.
Good for him.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something about it.
That was it.
All right. And then on to our second person, Mambo Marie, played by Sky P. Marshall. So this seems like it hits before she's really landed that like gig. So now people would probably know her as Olympia Lawrence in the current Matlock TV show with Kathy Bates. So like she's one of the main characters in that.
Okay.
So if you're watching procedurals on CBS, then you maybe are watching Matlock. But I mean, so that seems like, okay, that's what people would know her now as that gig. Because she's done lots of other smaller roles, kind of like if you look at, like we've mentioned before, people having like one episode here, one episode there. So she was a recurring character in Black Lightning, Cara Fowdy. Was in a main character in a canceled drama series called Good Sam, which had both Jason Isaacs and Sophia Bush.
All right.
Yeah. Which Jason Isaacs is like a surgeon that goes into a coma. So then Sophia Bush like takes over, or, like is his daughter and who's like also a surgeon, but rising in the ranks. And then he comes back and has to like serve under her or something. She was in also one of the episodes of Dexter, The Mentalist, 911, and The Rookie.
All right. So she did the circuit.
Oh yeah, exactly. So working TV actor that has now found that gig.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
There you go. That's our cast this week.
All right.
So we're ready to get into our first episode. Chapter 21, The Hellbound Heart, which is named after Clive Barker's 1986 horror novella of the same name, which served as the basis for Hellraiser, the Hellraiser movie, which came out the year later, which the Acheron configuration in the show, right? Yeah. The Acheron configuration is a play on the Lament configuration from Hellraiser, which is what the people unlock to unleash the Cenobites.
Well, and that makes sense because their heart is locked because of the Acheron configuration.
Exactly.
Look at that.
So it all
Poetic.
works together there. Yeah, pretty good.
But did they put that much thought into the Wizard of Oz analogy? Stay tuned.
Well, they started to and then went like, fine. And then this episode is the first time that Lachlan Watson, who plays Theo, and Gavin Leatherwood, who plays Nick, are both starring cast members.
Ooh.
Yeah, so starring in both these two parts.
Was it? But so just Theo wasn't as part of the group before as a starring?
Yeah, Theo was not one of the main starring.
But Roz and Harvey have been from the beginning?
Is a good question. I am not sure.
We can look it up later.
Yeah, but I know those two were promoted.
Interesting.
All right. Sabrina walks through a cave looking for Nick, and she finds him fused into the wall, kind of looking like PETA in the Hunger Games.
You're welcome for that, by the way. Brendan hadn't seen the Hunger Games until he got a me. Had you?
I had seen that one.
Oh,
I'd seen the first one. I remember going to the theaters with my parents. Yeah, it was like one of those movies that we just went and saw that one. I think it was like Home for a Break.
There's a really good social commentary on the things that the producers did to the Hunger Games and changing it from the books and how it's exactly what the game makers would have done that I like to think about a lot. Like they are the capital. Like they whitewashed it and they got rid of everyone's disabilities. Like PETA's supposed to be permanently disabled for after the first one. He loses a leg.
Gotcha.
And Katniss has to have her whole ear inner ear replaced or something. I can't remember. There's a whole there's a whole bunch that happens to people and they
just stripped it out.
They stripped all that out.
Interesting.
And also Katniss is not necessarily supposed to be as white as she is.
Oh, that's also interesting.
There's a lot of interesting changes. And I think that Jennifer Lawrence does an amazing job. I think the movies are great and I think they're fun. But there's definitely a lot of changes that were made to these dystopian books. And the focus on the Gale versus PETA is a lot bigger in the movies than it was in the books. Because in the books, it's very obvious that Gale is not an option.
It's so funny because even in the movies, it's like, oh yeah, no way.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Marketing really I mean, no, the movies still leave it open. But you're like, no way.
In the books, it's a little bit there. You know what I mean? But it's not.
Yeah.
As it's not the point.
Totally.
It's just there's a lot to think about in that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to say, you know what I mean? It's would the movies have been a success if they hadn't made those changes? Could you still get the message out with or without it? It becomes this whole I don't know the answers, but
exactly that they made it for.
I think they could have, but
yeah, exactly. And even if whether they could have or not, it seemed like it was the intention of money.
Mm-hmm.
Nick tells her to leave before he comes back, and we hear a beast roar. Sabrina gets Nick out of the wall with a spell, and they make a run for it with Lucifer hot on their heels. They make it out of the gates, the gates in the Greendale mines. As Lucifer bangs angrily on the gates, they embrace and tell each other they love one another, and then Nick changes into Lucifer, which wakes Sabrina from her dream. Sabrina comes downstairs to the entire coven sitting down for breakfast. Dorcas tries to ask for other food, which sets Zelda off, and she's like, it's time to reopen the academy, and she's going to name herself the director. The directrix. The Spellmans meet alone to wonder about the future of the coven, and then Sabrina worries.
In the kitchen of the house where everyone else lives.
Yeah. And you think all the coven, because it's like just a bunch of kids, it's giving very Vetty, springing the
farmies.
Yes.
Exactly.
Or the not the farmies, the
oh no, the girls from the ladies of the
perpetual suffering or whatever.
Perpetual. We should remember this.
Sisters of Quiet Mercy.
Sisters of Quiet Mercy. See, okay, well, I was near.
Yes.
I was not there though. That would not be good enough.
But that's what it seems like to me, is just like they're now taking care of all these kids. What happened to the adults?
They would not have given me that answer on Jeopardy.
Sabrina worries about Nick and walks off, and Hilda tells Zelda Sabrina goes to the gates every mornings, and she's like, she's probably crying her eyes out in front of it. But then we cut to Sabrina trying to open the gates with spells and no avail. And Harvey's like, hey, you got to go before anybody catches us. On the walk home, Harvey wonders what happens if Nick gets out of hell. Sabrina says, we'll find a better trap for Lucifer somewhere. And then Harvey digs into Nick betraying her, and Sabrina says it's more complicated when you're serving the Dark Lord. And they see an ice cream truck come rolling by. This reminded me a lot of like part one of like that, like Harvey and Sabrina like walking home together.
Yeah. Well, and so also the opening scene when Sabrina comes down the stairs, but she's sad. Is that was before this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is reminiscent of part one.
Mm-hmm.
Did you already say that?
I didn't like specifically say that. I didn't call it out at all. Hilda answers the phone, and it seems to be upset about it. The mortal crew tells Sabrina she should continue to live her life, and Harvey wants her to join their band, the Fright Club, and Roz wants her to join
better than the Archies. They don't call them the Harveys.
Harvey doesn't have that cachet amongst the group. They would shoot him down immediately.
Yeah, it would be like it would be something girl, like, you know, girls or
like they named their club Wicca.
Exactly.
Miss Wardwell's back teaching and teaches everyone Dante's Divine Comedy and has a beautifully drawn depiction of the layers of hell on the chalkboard.
Some teachers really put in the extra work.
Yeah.
Imagine drawing that in chalk.
Totally. She did great.
You would think she would have like a printout she'd put up or something, but no. Miss Wardwell said, I'm going to freehand this morning.
She's like, I am so haunted by this. I'm going to draw it with chalk. Zelda smashes the statue of Blackwood in the academy as Hilda runs in, and the council supposedly is having their meeting, and it's Blackwood's turn to host, but they don't know what happened. The council doesn't know what happened to Blackwood. Sabrina visits Miss Wardwell, who's upset over missing memories over the past month, and she's been having nightmares of demons and hellscapes. She describes artists that described hell, like Dante and Hieronymus Bosch, painting windows into hell, which gives Sabrina an idea. Sabrina runs to Dorian's, who's having trouble with a pimple. Sabrina wants a painting that serves as a portal into hell, and Dorian's like, well, if you do that, I want you to bring me La Fleur du Mal, which is from one of the layers in hell. This is the original flower of evil that inspired the poet Baudelaire. Its nectar Dorian's going to use it to get rid of his pimple, and then Sabrina will need to, if she can bring it back, he'll arrange safe passage out of hell.
Which is ironic because Baudelaire's thing is les fleurs du mal, so it's like the flowers of hell. There's no, and he's like, there's a single flower, but like, that's not.
Yeah, there's not. It's not like in a garden or anything.
No, it's just interesting.
Yeah,
we'll get to. I have a little note on that too when we get to the chitty part. The chitty part. The chatty part. The chitty part. We're gonna chitty.
The Fright Club have band practice when Sabrina rushes to tell them it's time to go to hell. Apparently humans aren't allowed in hell, but Sabrina says there are ways around it. They all bathe in ghastly water, which you get from washing dead people, and that will prevent demons from smelling them. And they also have to wear dead people's shoes. Pretty good. Mm-hmm. The coven is all back at the academy, and Zelda leads the witches in prayer to the Dark Lord. Later, Zelda fears about lying to the students about the Dark Lord, and Hilda wonders if they should tell the students the truth and pray to Lilith instead. And Zelda's like, I don't know. I don't think I can quite do that. Dorian shows them the portraits of the hellscape, and he tells them to find their way to the city of Pandemonium, and then they can only return if they're holding the flower for him. Sabrina chants a spell, and they all end up on the shores of sorrow. Theo points out souls of the damned stuck in wooden prisons on the water. A man approaches, telling them they drown when the tide rolls in over and over for all eternity. He then points them to follow the blood to pandemonium. He doesn't tell Sabrina his name because she's like, "Who are you, handsome?" Not quite, but she's like, well hello there.
I mean, he's a half-naked Australian man building a sandcastle on a beach.
And she's like, "I wasn't expecting to see a tall drink of water like you in a hot place like hell." And then he doesn't tell Sabrina his name, but comments on them wearing the dead man's shoes, and that's very clever. In New Orleans, Penelope Blossom going by Miss Dubois. Except it's not. It's just Miss Dubois. Lets Father Blackwood into her room. She goes to pour him scotch, and turns out it's Prudence in disguise. Gotcha. Ambrose appears as well, and he's like, "We got you, dead to rights." And they ask where the twins are, and he won't tell them, so Prudence stabs him in the gut. Turns out it was actually one of Blackwood's Judas followers in disguise. Damn. The Fright Club wanders through the field of witness, where people are hung up on crosses, and ravens tear at their skin. Or crows. I put ravens. I don't know how to tell the difference, to be honest. Theo sees his uncle and runs off.
I mean, they're from the same family.
Exactly.
They're
Okay.
Corvallis. I don't remember the Latin word for the basically, the crow families, but they're of the same family of bird.
There you go.
Somebody who knows more about birds is probably like, "Oh my God, stop talking." She
China.
doesn't know anything about space. She doesn't know anything about
Save
birds.
us, please.
If you know things, let us know.
Yeah, why are you just letting us hang out like this?
We don't know.
Making us look foolish. Theo sees his uncle, Jesse, and runs off so the blood is a red brick road. Like a yellow brick road, but a blood. And then Uncle Jesse is like up on a cross, and then he asks how he ended up there, and he says, "Lila sent me here." Sabrina casts a spell so he won't get hurt until they're back, and she talks Theo into coming back to free him when they're done. Lilith gets word that Sabrina's in hell, and Lilith is in her big throne, looking all cool, wearing her crown, and we see that Nick is chained up next to her, and she has his tongue in a jar next to her throne.
And she's got him in a little fluffy collar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's something like figuratively symbolic of the ruffle, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, he's wearing the ruffles and he's wearing capris. Zelda gets ready for the council, and Hilda is disguised as Father Blackwood.
You made it sound like it's gonna be in like men's Vogue. Like you're like he's wearing the ruffle and the capris.
He is. It's the. I mean, you can't quite go there, but it's almost the Princess Leia slave outfit. He's in the same position. He's got the collar chained up, and he's like lounging down, but looking like dingy. But in the scene where Hilda is disguised as Father Blackwood, Richard Coyle, who plays Father Blackwood, is having a great time pretending to be Hilda. It's so
good. Yeah.
Of like giddy, of like, oh, well, if they say this, we'll do that. And oh, I made him these cake, because this will help them agree with us more, essentially. It's great. He's playing way more bubbly. The Fright Club arrive in the Forest of Torment, where the Fleur de Mal is. They split into pairs to look for it, and Sabrina worries the ghastly water is worn off. Sabrina and Roz hear singing and go to find it. Harvey and Theo hear someone chopping. Excuse me. Sabrina and Roz find that the flower itself is singing. And Sabrina says, if the thorns prick us, we go to sleep and never wake up. Harvey and Theo find a tin man with an axe for an arm chopping at a tree, and he's got an exposed heart on the outside of his tin. And then he comes after them. Harvey fights the Tin Man while Theo gathers the crew. Sabrina casts a spell to rust the Tin Man over, and Harvey sees that it's his brother Tommy. And Sabrina shoots the Tin Man's heart out and tells Harvey that it wasn't her brother. I don't know how she knows this. Prudence
because he was in limbo.
Oh, right. Yes.
It can't be Harvey.
It can't be Harvey.
Harvey was
potentially consumed by the limbo monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he would just be vanished from any of the realms because he was consumed.
I would assume,
if anything,
unless someone could bring him back.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like he gets devoured when she's pulling him out.
Yeah, because she just comes out with his hand, right?
So yeah. Ambrose says he taught. Oh, sorry. Prudence and Ambrose wonder how Blackwood is continuing to elude them, and Ambrose is like, "Well, he taught us witchcraft, so like we can't catch up because we're using. He
His
would know
tricks.
more than us." And then Prudence is like, maybe another type of witchcraft. We are in New Orleans after all. So they find a voodoo shop and meet Mambo Michelle Marie Lafleur. They tell her they're seeking Blackwood, and Prudence offers her blood to help him find him because it's his blood. The Fright Club walks on the path in dark void, and Harvey starts freaking out. They come upon a red door that says Baxter High on it. Sabrina opens it to find a dark classroom where children are being tortured. Their former principal Hawthorne looks like Edward Scissorhands, but with his guts out.
He's got
and
like
stops them.
razors. Almost
Yeah.
like razor blades for fingies.
Mm-hmm. That are quite. Yeah.
I think they're like for nails. I think they're supposed to be claws. Like he's the cowardly lion because his guts are out.
Okay, that's what they're supposed to be claws then.
I think.
That makes sense.
That's my guess.
Yeah, this is
we'll
where
discuss.
this one doesn't quite match up the same. And then he stops them, and the club gets trapped to desks by skeleton hands, and Sabrina finds she can't spellcast. Roz's grandma comes in dressed in nun's robes and says Roz wasted her gift of the cunning and helping witches. Lilith gets word that the three kings of hell have returned with the hordes of hell, and she's like, damn it. But I need to stop them. So she tells her servant to accept the king and bring Sabrina and her friends alive to her. The council members all receive their cakes, and they ask Blackwood why he wasn't at last month's intercouncil meeting. Hilda bluffs that he had stomach troubles. The council members say they've had a loss of power and virility. And then Hilda's like, well, I haven't. Have you been praying to the Dark Lord? And they're like, yes, of course, every day. And we speak to him. We even spoke to him that morning. So then later Zelda's like, damn, they're all charlatans. So we need to tell the students some of the truths about the council members being liars. Principal Hawthorne and Nana Ruth are about to torture Roz when Lilith's servant comes in and puts a stop to it. He's like, okay, we're done here. Zelda leads the coming in prayer to Lilith, which is heard by Lilith in hell. And the students are all surprised by it, but go along with it, and Lilith is excited by this prayer. The Fright Club are ushered in to see Lilith, and she stops Sabrina from seeing Nick. Sabrina asks what's happening inside him, and Lilith's like, him and the Dark Lord must be having all sorts of fun conversations. And we see inside Lucifer and Nick are having a homoerotic wrestling match for control.
Because there's nothing that anything in the Archie verse loves more than a teenage boy fighting an adult man in wrestling.
That's right.
There's nothing we love more than that.
We love nothing more than age gap Greco-Roman wrestling.
That is what we have learned from the Archieverse.
Yes. Lilith has the Fright Club for dinner, and Roz says to Harvey, like, don't eat anything because she can see through it, the glamour, and it's like all rotten food. Lilith also says she stayed looking like Wardwell because she grew comfortable.
They said, we don't want to recast.
No, Michelle Gomez is too good.
No, she's great.
Lilith promises to look into Jesse Putnam being in hell. She's like, that must be some sort of error. And says she'll give Nick to Sabrina if Sabrina crowns her queen of hell in front of the three kings. Prudence cuts her hand to invoke the blood magic, and the blood trails on the map to Loch Ness. Oh, we went back to Scotland. They hook up over their success in finding Blackwood. Woohoo!
I mean, I think they're hot.
Yeah.
I like this couple.
Exactly.
I like this pairing.
I mean, Ambrose was trying to have sex with her before them, and she's like, after the magic.
Yeah, let me do the blood magic first.
Mm-hmm. Lilith introduces Sabrina to the gathered kings, and Sabrina is going to crown her queen of hell. The three kings push back against this, and they want to crown Caliban, who was born from the clay of the pit of hell. Turns out it was the hot boy from the shores. Caliban says he'll restore stability and conquer Earth. And Nick looks at Sabrina, and she finds herself visiting Lucifer in the Archeron configuration that is Nick's body. Lucifer tells Sabrina that only she can restore the balance of hell, and if one realm is out of balance, then all the others are out of balance, aka heaven and earth. He says the old ones are coming to Greendale. Beware the old ones. Beware. And then Lucifer continues to tell her she needs to be queen, and Nick comes out and tells her, don't do it. They embrace and profess their love for each other, and Lucifer cuts them off and casts her out. Sabrina tells everyone that the throne is hers, much to Lilith's surprise. The kings don't accept this, and Sabrina's like, well, I'll do this with Lilith as my advisor. And Caliban's like, well, she's half mortal, not divine, and you have to rule by the divine right of royalty. And
But he's made out of the clay of the pit.
That's right.
How is he divine?
And yeah, I think it's more that her challenge to the throne is that it's divine rule.
Yeah.
He goes to challenge Sabrina, but Lilith says certain signatures are required for you to do that. And Sabrina tells him to back off in the meantime and shows off her power.
We love bureaucratic red tape.
Yes. The gathered crowds leave, and Lilith frees Jesse Putnam and warns Sabrina of defending the crown. And Sabrina takes Nick and the friends, and they leave Hell with Dorian's spell. Sabrina stores Nick down in the Academy dungeons, chained with Damascus steel and inside a salt circle. At Dr. C's, Roz wonders what's next for Sabrina as the Queen of Hell, and she's like, I'm not going to move to Hell just yet. Like, I got to live a normal life. It can't all just be Hell. You told me that, Roz. And she's like, you know what? I am going to go off for cheerleading with you, Roz. And then they cheer as a strong wind, but not that sort of cheer. As strong wind blows, the doors open, and they're like, wonder what's that about. And we see a bunch of horse-drawn buggies head into Greendale. The end.
Okay, so like any true Archieverse show, we have high school cheerleading. We have
Yes.
a musical number featuring a band of main characters.
Yes, they're playing My Sharona, and I don't quite understand why My Sharona. Maybe they could just get the rights to that.
Yeah, I'm not certain about that either. Maybe it's one that like they all knew.
Oh, maybe.
Like, I mean, Ross Lynch was like, he was in a band with his brothers.
Right. What was it called again?
I don't know.
That wasn't fun.
I don't know. But then... So,
There's something 5 or something, right?
Yeah. What?
Sorry. I
No,
opened
it's
up this
okay.
box.
You've got to look for it now.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us the answers.
Ross Lynch. American singer, actor, musician.
His brother Riker is on Dancing with the Stars. That's what I know.
R5.
That makes sense.
And then one half of the band, the Driver era,
I think...
with Rocky Lynch.
Yeah, I think they all have R names.
Rocky Lynch.
Yeah, they all got names with R's.
Imagine you were named Ross and you could have been Rocky.
Or Riker.
Riker. Yeah, I know. Got the most normal name.
So we have high school cheerleading. We have a musical number. We have homoerotic wrestling with the devil.
Right.
And we have a hot demon building sandcastles. That's
check.
That's a Saturday in Riverdale, Greendale to me. Like, that's just a normal day. So let's talk about the Wizard of Oz analogy. I have thoughts on this. And at first I was like, no. And then I was like, yes. And I'm kind of somewhere in the middle now. So follow the blood red road. Totally fine. Get that. Like that. We're into this. Flowers that put people to sleep if you get poked by them. I mean, the poppies, you don't get poked, but they get put to sleep in the Wizard of Oz by the poppies. Have you seen the Wizard of Oz?
It's been a very long time.
Okay. So she's Dorothy. She's got her 3 friends with her. Like, you could play it that way too. And then each thing they encounter associates with one of the characters. My issue is that I think Theo's should have been bravery.
And because that's what Theo has struggled with.
Theo struggled with in the past, and Theo has come around, so it would be a hit to Theo's ego.
Yeah.
It would like hurt him.
But is Uncle Jesse supposed to be Scarecrow? Because he looks like the Scarecrow.
Uncle Jesse is the Scarecrow. We find the Scarecrow first. It's also an order. We find the Scarecrow first.
Right.
So the Scarecrow has no brain. So it's saying that Uncle Jesse has no brain. It's just picking at... Is it saying that Uncle Jesse's like ignorant to what's going on and is therefore an innocent victim? It's a little different than the Scarecrow.
Yeah. And it doesn't line up with, like you said, anything that's going on with Theo's character arc.
Yeah, it's not like Theo doesn't have a brain. If anything, Harvey's should have not had a brain. Anyway, I digress. So then we get to Harvey and the Tin Man of his brother.
Makes sense.
No heart. That one's very on brand, goes through the heart. Yeah, I really love the imagery of Sabrina shooting him because she offered to kill him last time, and Harvey was like, "No, I'll do it. He's my brother." It's Old Yeller.
He does. He does. The Old Yeller is brother.
But he couldn't shoot a familiar in the woods. Yet Sabrina has no issues shooting this image of Tommy. That was his name.
Oh my God, I literally just left my brain.
So I really like the kind of like the dichotomy of the two. Like the idea that like Sabrina is a lot more cold-blooded and like steadfast in that way, which I think is what makes her a really interesting character and like a fun heroine, I guess. But it is funny because it's like Harvey's fallen right for it, and she's like, "That's not your brother," because I left him I think probably.
Yeah, that's not
I can't
left
remember
unsaid.
unless like did she get him out of there somehow, or like
No.
did she have her dad get him out somehow or save him? I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So then we get to principal. So that's heart. So we got brain, we got heart. Now we got to get to guts. Principal Hawthorne and Roz's grandma. The no guts, the ripped open chest. Is it like because Roz has had a hard time picking between her faith and what she is? And in which case, wouldn't that not be guts and wouldn't that be more cerebral? So couldn't you have played that into head?
Yeah.
It's just strange. And I don't really get the point of this. I think each one is to scare the friend. Like it's their biggest fear.
Yeah.
It's playing with their biggest fears. Which has very little to do with Sabrina, except for the fact that she's their friend. So it doesn't quite work for me. But I think it's like a fun idea.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's quite meaty enough. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. Because also it's one, I don't really know what's related to the principal here.
Mm-hmm.
But two, I guess that she feels bad, like is conflicted over helping witches.
Are these all people that died because of Sabrina?
Let's see.
Jesse Putnam, Harvey.
Jesse, I mean,
because of Lilith, really, but
yeah.
So they all died at Lilith's hand.
Yeah, I think so.
So because of Sabrina,
except for
what happened?
Nana Ruth, because she just passes.
Died. But I don't think she's actually there.
No.
I guess most of them aren't actually there, but
yeah, only Uncle Jesse.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think if they were all there, and we were like, "Oh my God, Lilith has so much power, and this is what she did. Like, how fucked up? We gotta save her."
Yeah.
But it's like it's just playing with their fears. I kind of like. I wish I knew what it was trying to tell me, and I don't feel like
mixed.
Like if it's like, oh, this is just for fun and like a fun little nod to the Wizard of Oz, that's fine. But like I was like, oh, there's a deeper message here. And then I was kind of like, I'm not quite sure if I'm getting it. And that doesn't mean there's not one. Mm-hmm. It just means I didn't figure it out.
No, I don't think it's told. Yeah, I don't think it's told super well. Like I said, I think we're mixing stuff here. That I don't know if Roz's main concern was about like helping witches or not. It was like losing her faith and like figuring out what to do. Sorry.
With her father and like her religion and
Exactly.
It was more like the grandma father pull of like beliefs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's my thoughts on that. Anything you want to add there?
And then because we kind of lose steam after the Roz's interaction, like we don't really get that like wizard or like pandemonium, sort of thing. It's kind of like after that, it's like, okay, and we're on to Lilith and everything.
Yeah.
She's not really like the wizard behind the thing. I mean,
no.
Only maybe in the context of like Wicked now, where like the wizard is not up to nefarious things and bringing you in, but I don't think.
What do you mean the wizard isn't up to nefarious things and bringing you in?
Like in the original Wizard of Oz, he's not like a completely good character because he's like hiding behind the screen and everything, mm-hmm. but he's not like the evil character that like in the Wicked movies he is. Mm-hmm. Whereas like Lilith is like, well, she's going along with them, pretending herself like she's like, oh, that must be a mistake that Jesse's down here.
Yeah.
And doing her own nefarious schemes, but she's not hiding behind anything.
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's.
I guess maybe like false ruler at the time.
Yeah, she's hiding almost behind Sabrina in some ways.
Yeah.
Like she's hiding behind the title.
Yeah.
That she is not entitled to.
Right. Yeah. But like it seems like she's still inhabiting things, but it's not. She doesn't quite have her kingdom together. The kingdom together.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, doesn't quite
I
work
kind
for
of
the
wish
wizard.
instead we'd gotten brought down because there was issues with the balance with heaven and hell and earth. Like if it was like,
Yeah, that's a big
oh,
thing
like
to throw in.
that there's this huge imbalance, and so Sabrina has to go down there to balance. Like if Lilith came and got her, like it'd be kind of funny if instead of like Sabrina figuring out a way in, Lilith was like, you have to come fix this.
Yeah.
And like I'm dragging you back down here and you have no choice. I think it'd be more like, it'd be it works with the show, but it's still fun. We're still having a good time.
No, it I think it's a fun thing to go down into hell, and then you transplant that to like a similar thing of like going through Oz and going down the yellow brick road. But metaphor and thing is it's like doesn't really hold up. It's just like, okay, that's a neat reference, I guess.
Speaking of metaphor and references, let's talk about Dante's Divine Comedy for just a second. Have I read Dante's Inferno? No, I have not. So if you have and you know more than I do on this, share. Tell us in the comments. I'm happy to be taught.
Mm-hmm.
I do know Dante's Divine Comedy has 3 parts. Part 1, Inferno. Part 2, Purgatorio. And Part 3, Paradiso. But like I think it's like Hell, Purgatory, and Paradise. It's kind of like the three of hell, earth, and heaven. That's kind of how
the layers of the cosmology of the afterlife.
Correct. So the Inferno it represents like the acknowledgement and rejection of sin for Dante. It starts, the first canto starts the morning of Good Friday. Right in line with when we were watching this, basically.
Yes.
We were watching it the day after. It's just, I thought that was very fun. I was like, oh, that's a fun little call. Other than that, like, I don't know how much real like connection to this and the layers of hell that Dante uses in reference to this. Like it seems to pull more from the Wizard of Oz than that.
Yeah, I think it's right.
But I thought, like, I was like, oh, that's fun, and which I guess is like also like an easier reference point for people. Because like I know the Wizard of Oz
to kind of visualize it.
The only thing I know about Dante's Inferno is that there's the layers of hell and the Virgil's taking him through, and Dante sees basically it's like Dante. It's really like a fan fiction of like every single like philosopher and historical like person. It's like, and then I got to talk to this person. It's like the Your Name Was Kidnapped by One Direction fan fiction.
That's really funny.
But it's not,
Mm-hmm.
And someone's gonna be really mad about that. I feel like if they're like if they're that serious though about literature, I feel like they're not listening to our podcast. So, actually, you know what? It's fine. Then we get Les Fleurs du Mal, which is by Baudelaire, The Flowers of Evil, and it's a French collection of poetry. And 6 poems in the original edition were banned and got Baudelaire in legal trouble, and he was charged 300 francs. And they've since added more. It was basically a collection of all of his poems, but some of them were rather racy and maybe inappropriate of the time, But I think all the poetry is considered now like very classic, and it's no WAP. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's fine. We have so much worse shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was fun. The other thing I want to talk about is Caliban. Caliban the name is from The Tempest, which is a Shakespeare play that I have not read.
I haven't read The Tempest either, because that was his last one, right?
I think it's one of the later ones. Yeah. I don't actually know. So The Tempest, Caliban, is a half human, half man, canonically kind of like ugly monstrosity of a character. So of course we made this a hot young man.
Yeah, thought to be one of the last plays that he wrote. Sorry.
No, you're good. But he's supposed to be this subhuman, kind of like half man, half beast, like not even a human. So like the irony of making him a prince to me is like really funny. It's like setting us up to think like I assume that this is a pseudo prince because like the name does not refer to that, which I just think is fun. He's a son of a sea witch in The Tempest. And is that relevant?
Well, I mean, that's why they find him on the, like you mentioned yesterday, they find him on the shores making sandcastles.
Exactly. And he's making a beautiful sandcastle.
It really is.
It's a gorgeous sandcastle. I like the addition of Caliban because I like the addition of someone to challenge Sabrina. I think that is always fun. I think that a hot new bombshell entered the villa. And I think that it just really, like, it brings something for, like, a competition for her where she's not fighting against Lilith, but gets to work with Lilith. Because I really like when two people that do not have the same goal, but have the same goal, have to work together to then get to that goal. And I think that Sabrina and Lilith work best together as characters in that dynamic. So I'm glad they set them up in that way again. Like, I do think that was fun and good writing.
Absolutely.
I like that Lucifer's like, you have a crown to claim. Like, you have to restore the balance. Also, the old ones are coming. Like, he's so far, I think, telling her the truth.
Yeah.
And I like this idea that he like really wants to be like the proud dad.
Right.
Like, he really wants her to be what he wants.
Right.
And she doesn't want it. And he's like willing to like work on it. And I mean, like, I think that plays with that, like, granted, he's this character that's always like can get what he wants or, you know, deliver what he wants, but he's also immortal. So it's like, I'm imprisoned for now, but I'll figure it out.
Right. Exactly.
Like, I can fight off this warlock.
Yeah. And with, yeah. And in the meantime, we'll get you into a place where we need you so I can then take over Earth.
Exactly. Then,
but yeah, that you can read it on both levels of like machinations because he's duplicitous. But then at the same time, it's like the proud father. It's like, do what you were born to be.
Exactly. So then we get a little Nick and Sabrina. What I really like about this episode, and what I think is actually like good writing too, is immediately we have action and we have fan service. And I think when you have a show that has as long of breaks as this had, immediately bringing us back to seeing Sabrina and Nick is really good. And I think that they open with it and it's a dream, but then by the end of the episode, we also have Nick back. Obviously, we don't have Nick back as a character. We have Nick back as a body.
Yeah, they do resolve like that tension at the end of part 2 really fast.
And we're not waiting around for it, which tells us that there's more story to tell, which I appreciate. Because then it's not like it gets really old when you're like, is the character going to be back? Are they like, they have to get him eventually. Like, they're not going to leave him down there forever, but we're going to wait 3 episodes.
Right.
Like, that's just not the vibe.
No, yeah, I lost it. Essentially, the conflict here is like, what do we do with Lucifer now?
Exactly. Where am I going to put him?
Yeah. Which is also a bold move on behalf of Lilith to like allow this to happen. Because it's like, okay.
Is she going to let him out into something that she can't get him into?
Exactly.
Like, how's she going to move him without my help?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And then let's talk about Zelda and Hilda now. I like their plot line. I think this is fun. Like, them deconstructing religion and their belief system, and like, who do you believe in when your God has betrayed you?
Yes.
Like, I think that's delicious. And the idea that like all of the men in power in the church are lying to you.
And exactly. And because of this power imbalance too, that they're all losing their powers. It's like, hey, things aren't working the way they're supposed to. And it doesn't seem to have really affected the witches as much. They're the women and the other like younger practitioners. But it's really noticed by the council members and then Dorian.
But the people who have traded their souls to the devil in some way, shape, or form. It's very fun. And that Lilith is protecting the women.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And exactly and the children.
And the children. I mean, how many boys are there? There's like 2.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still included.
Totally. And Ambrose.
Exactly.
Ambrose has all his power, it seems like. So I like that. Like you said, I love watching the Hilda as Blackwood characterization. It was done really well. It was really fun to watch. And then I just really love this, like, Zelda's like, we're tearing the shit to the ground.
Yeah, she's taking a sledgehammer to it.
Literally. Which is a vibe.
Yeah, it's really good. They're just opening that scene of just like, oh, I've slayed it. Like, I've torn it down, sister.
So then I want to talk about the Prudence and Ambrose Haitian voodoo aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know a lot about Haitian voodoo, voodoo, all the different types of witchcraft. I don't know much about a lot of types of witchcraft, to be honest, but I especially don't know a lot about Black spiritualism. And so I like the idea that they're bringing this in. And I also assume at the same time, much like they get things wrong with even the tarot cards,
Right.
that they are getting things wrong. I'm not certain. I don't know. I can't truly speak on it. I can just read what other people have said online. But I think it's fun that they're bringing in other cultures. I think it's important to bring in other cultures. So I am excited about that. And I just hope the representation is good and not problematic in any way.
Yeah. At least on first glance, in comparison to what you usually see of like voodoo dolls where they're poking things and all that sort of stuff. And when she comes in and asks, it's like, oh, do you want tarot? Do you want to read? Like, there's like a wide range of like what she offers and does. And then also,
but she specifically says she does Haitian voodoo.
Yeah.
Whereas I know, I think hoodoo voodoo is more like associated with African diaspora in that area. I'm not certain.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But that's what I've read from my Googling.
It would make sense because she's in New Orleans.
Exactly. So I think it's interesting, and I wonder too, if they're making that distinction between Haitian voodoo and not, and what the intention is there. Right. I wish it was explained a little bit more for me because I don't know, and I do assume that most of the audience also doesn't know.
Right. Yeah.
But I also don't think that's the point of the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a documentary on witchcraft, or else we would have gotten a lot of things right earlier.
But it's just, it's a... Voodoo is often misrepresented in media and things like that. So it's something that has to be handled delicately.
Totally. And it can also be misrepresented as something that is evil, and you run into a lot of weird risks with it. So I appreciate that they're not presenting it in that way, where it's well, these are the bad witches.
Yeah, right.
It's more oh, this is a different kind of power.
Yeah.
And here's what we do. But yeah, if anyone has thoughts on that, or a fully formed knowledge of it, please let us know.
Absolutely.
I'm going to keep looking it up and trying to research it. It's kind of hard because it's I don't know which sources are legitimate in that arena. And also I feel like the internet has really gone to shit. When I search things now, besides weeding through the 47 AI things and having to turn everything off that's AI, then it's I can't find legitimate sources and figure out what's what.
Right.
Remember back when you were it's gotta have a .org.
God.
I need
that's what dates
witcraftinformation.org. Spiritualpractices.org. God knows what that is. Yeah, that really does date us.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love seeing more Black characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I am excited for where the season's going. And I'm just excited.
Good
I remember liking this part, I think. And then the second part, I remember being a little less impressed.
Yeah,
we'll
like we said, we'll see what happens, what we think when we get to the end again.
Mm-hmm. It's just that there's so little of this show in the grand scheme of things in comparison to
Oh yeah, we're dealing with the show Riverdale's 100 some odd episodes, and this is 32 or something.
Yeah, it was fast.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the episode?
No, yeah, I think we covered it.
All right.
Well, so we'll be back next week with one more episode of Sabrina. In the meantime, you can find this podcast on all your audio podcast platforms of choice at Dead Ends. You can also find the video version at dead_ends on YouTube. You can find us on Blue Sky at dead-ends. And then you can also find us on Instagram at deadendspcast. You can follow us there, leave comments on YouTube. You can also write us an email at deadendspcast@gmail.com. And then one more thing. Yes, our amazing cover is done by Senki R, and you can follow them And there's a link to their Kara page in all our episode descriptions.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no. What is it?
Not today, Satan.
Not today, Satan. Good. I'm glad you got there.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, ooh, what
I was like, we're not going to hell to get her boyfriend back because we wouldn't have done a spoiler. So what was it?
Yeah.
But not today, Satan. And every day, not today, Satan.
Just remember that.
Not today.
Good. Not today.
You know what? Honestly, just not today.
Today?
No. Well, thank you for coming to our line read.
We love you so much.
We love you.